What if you landed your dream job on Wall Street? You worked late every night, you did everything expected of you, but then you got fired. Not because you failed, but because you asked to sleep 8 hours a night. This is the story of a young Wall Street analyst named Kathryn. This case nearly forced Wall Street to defend its work culture in court. And the bank's legal argument? That sleeping every night was incompatible with the job. And 5 years later, the night before the trial was about to begin, the bank agreed to pay millions of dollars to make the case disappear. But to understand why this case terrified Wall Street, we need to go back to the beginning. My name is Raf. I spent 8 years working in investment banking here in London, and what you're about to hear is not surprising to anyone who has worked in this industry. So let's get into it. Kathryn graduated in 2020 and joined a firm called Centerview Partners. And if you haven't heard of them, that's actually by design. Centerview is deliberately low profile, but inside Wall Street, it's considered one of the most elite M&A advisory firms in the world. M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions, advising companies where they buy, sell, and merge with other companies. The deals are massive, the fees are enormous, but the hours can be also extremely demanding. So she was staffed on a major deal, the kind where you expect it to be available almost around the clock. Late nights were the norm, and everyone around her was working these hours. So far, nothing unusual for Wall Street. But this is where the story takes a strange turn. But one night, Kathryn logged off shortly after midnight, and that alone triggered a conversation with management. She was asked to give more notice if she planned to log off that early again. And let's just pause for a moment. Logging off after midnight was considered early. Now, here is where the story gets a bit more complicated. Kathryn didn't push back simply because she preferred shorter hours. She told the firm she has been diagnosed with a mood and anxiety disorder, and that managing the condition required her to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep on a consistent schedule. So initially, Centerview attempted to accommodate her. They created what they called protected sleep window from midnight to 9 a.m. So for about 2 weeks, it worked. But then the firm called her in over Zoom, and they told her she was being terminated. So shortly after, in 2021, Kathryn sued Centerview. Initially, she wanted up to $20 million in damages, including lost earnings and emotional distress. Centerview's legal positions were straightforward. In court filings, the firm argued that needing a full night of sleep every night was incompatible with the essential functions of the analyst role. Their position revealed that analysts were typically working between 60 and 120 hours per week. And if you're watching this thinking, that sounds insane, you're not alone here. On some deals, according to the firm's own filing, analysts were effectively working 24 hours a day. Internal emails revealed the tension inside the team because one associate wrote that he and a colleague shouldn't be up alone working. A line that kind of shows, both ways, that the culture was extreme, but also shows that the people inside the system knew it was extreme. Now, here's what made this case particularly uncomfortable for Wall Street. If it had gone to trial, the entire industry might have been forced to explain in front of a jury why sleep is incompatible with the job. And if you worked in investment banking, none of this particularly is surprising to you. The system is built on responsiveness. Analysts aren't just expected to work long hours, they're expected to be instantly available. Evenings, weekends, holidays, anytime. And when a managing director emails at 2 a.m., the expectation usually is that you will not reply in the morning, you will reply immediately. This case also landed at a moment where the industry was already facing questions about its work culture. In 2021, a group of Goldman Sachs analysts leaked a presentation showing they were working around 95 hours a week on average. The slides went viral, and for a brief moment, the industry had to confront itself. Some banks introduced protected Saturdays. Yay! Some introduced hours cap, at least on paper, but the headlines kept coming. In 2024, Leo Lucknes III, a 35-year-old former Green Beret and a father of 2, died from a blood clot while working as a junior banker at Bank of America. And he had reportedly been working more than 100 hours per week. That wasn't the first case either. Back in 2013, a Bank of America intern in London died after working 3 consecutive all-nighters. These deaths shocked the industry. Each time the industry promised change, but the culture never fundamentally shifted. It just simply became more documented. And this is why this case terrified Wall Street. After 5 years of litigation, Kathryn's case was finally headed to trial. Jury selection was scheduled for February 2026 in Manhattan Federal Court. Senior executives from Centerview were expected to testify. Junior bankers would have taken the stand. The internal culture of one of Wall Street's most secretive firms would have been examined in open court. But then something happened. The night before the trial was set to begin, Centerview settled. The official terms were not publicly disclosed, but one report suggests the payment was around the $5 million that Kathryn has been seeking initially. Centerview denied wrongdoing and said it believed it would have won the trial, but they didn't go to trial, and that alone tells you something. I think to finish, it's worth mentioning that investment banking offers something very few industries can: life-changing money very early in your career. And for many people, the trade-off is worth it, at least for a few years, like it was for me. She never got her day in court, but she forced Wall Street to confront a question it has avoided for decades and still avoiding now. At what point does a culture become something the law must examine? If you're interested in how Wall Street, private equity, and investment banking actually work behind the scene, subscribe. I break down those stories that rarely get explained outside the industry. So I'll see you in the next video.